Hello, my name is Roger Watson. I'm the Editor-in-Chief of the Journal of Advanced Nursing. I'm the editor of Nursing Open, and I'm an associate editor for the Wiki Journal of Medicine. In this session, I want to talk to you about a very valuable aspect of academic publishing, and that is reviewing manuscripts for journals. First of all, however, I want to deal with some preliminaries before I get on to the main content, which will be about structuring a review and what should go in the various parts of a review and how to write your review. Those of you who review for academic journals play an invaluable part and offer an invaluable service to the academic publishing industry, to journals, and especially to us editors. This activity largely goes unrecognised and unrewarded, and that is a problem, and some people want to get more recognition for their activity. Now, for certain journals which are registered with Clarivate, that's the Science Citation Index, it is possible to get credit for your reviewing activity. And you can do that as follows, and I would really recommend anyone who is publishing academic articles and is reviewing that they do both of these things. First of all, get yourself an ORCID registration number, ORCID. You'll find it on Google. It's a great service, it's completely free, and you can register there in about 5 minutes. Soon it will actually become compulsory to have ORCID numbers, both to publish articles and to do reviewing, and indeed to apply for research grants. I won't go into the details of ORCID just now. You can have a look at the site and find out for yourself. Once you've registered with ORCID, the next thing you should do is create yourself a profile on Publons, P-U-B-L-O-N-S, Publons. This is another service provided by Clarivate. Now, on the Publons site, not only will your publications appear there, but also your reviewing activity. If you review for a Clarivate journal, then when you review, if you indicate that you would like to receive credit and that you're registered with ORCID and that your ORCID number is in the journal database, then your reviewing activity will appear on Publons. So that's one way in which you can receive some recognition, at least, of your reviewing activity. And people who review a lot get recognised as frequent reviewers and get a gold star or something like that. They get even better recognition for the reviewing activity. So I would really recommend that you do both of those things if you haven't done that already. As I say, not every journal is on the Clarivate system. Some very good journals are not, but the best ones tend to be. Okay. If you're invited to do a review, this will normally come by email, and there are some specific things that you need to check before you even think about conducting the review. And these days it's very important to check whether or not the journal is a predatory journal. Now, I'm not going to go into details here about predatory journals. I've spoken about those in other presentations, and the Inago Academy provide a great deal of information, and very good information, about predatory journals. But please don't review for predatory journals. It only gives credibility to their activities and detracts from your own credibility. So check that the journal is not predatory. Then, if the journal is not predatory, do check that the subject material of the article that you're being asked to review is within your domain of expertise. There's no point in reviewing articles that you don't understand either methodologically or clinically, or whatever it happens to be your area of academic expertise. Don't be drawn into doing that. And if the article really isn't within your domain of expertise, then don't hesitate to decline the review. Sometimes when you're asked to decline a review, you're asked to suggest another reviewer. It's always very helpful if you can do that. Then check that you've no conflict of interest with the manuscript. Now, for journals that review anonymously using double-blind review processes, you won't know the authors, so you won't necessarily know if there's a conflict of interest. However, you may recognise the research. You may well be able to work out who it's from, and you may feel that you are not the appropriate person for that reason to review it. Other than that, of course, you can review if you've got a conflict of interest, but I would always make sure that you declare that so that the editor can take that into account. But do check for conflicts of interest. And then, before you do the review, you'll almost certainly have to register on the journal website if you haven't reviewed for them before, or if you haven't written for them before. This can be a little bit tedious and take a few minutes to do, to put in your academic details and your address and so forth. If the journal has the facility for you to register using your ORCID number, which I mentioned earlier, then please make sure that you do that. And in fact, it's a very good thing to do, because you can use your ORCID number to log into the journal in future. Okay, general principles for reviewing manuscripts. First of all, always try to be constructive. There's no point in being destructive towards other people's work. It doesn't help. It doesn't help them. And always try to be polite. Those of us who are editors really exhort our reviewers to be polite, and in fact we do monitor this, and we do drop reviewers who are not polite. It just doesn't help, and we also ask authors to be polite when they're replying, of course. Be aware that reviewing is not a scientific process. It's not a reliable process. It would be great if it could be. It does have its flaws. It's not a perfect system, but it's the best one we've got for trying to make sure that the best possible work gets published. Reviewing is an exchange of opinions. You're giving your opinion, other reviewers will give theirs, the editors will formulate these opinions into a decision, and then the authors have the opportunity, or perhaps not, to respond. So don't worry too much about it. Don't lose any sleep over reviewing manuscripts, because you're not necessarily going to be right, you're not necessarily going to be wrong. The aim of reviewing is to help us to publish the best quality publications that we can. And most manuscripts that are submitted don't get published in that form. The ultimate article can be very different, and that's thanks to the work of reviewers. So your job is really to help us to make things better. Things will never be perfect. Don't be afraid to express your view about a manuscript. If you really think it isn't for publication, then do say so. Don't be afraid to do that. That is a very valuable thing to do. Some people seem to be hesitant to reject. But of course, if you think it's at all retrievable, if you think that the article manuscript can be improved, then it's always a good idea to give it a chance. Just be aware that you're not making the decision about the manuscript, you are making a recommendation. It's the editors who make the decision, either the editor or the editor-in-chief. Also, when you're writing reviews, do try to achieve congruence between what you write and what you recommend. For example, don't write a lengthy, negatively critical review and then say accept. That really doesn't help the editors at all. And then don't do the converse. Don't write very positive reviews and then say reject. That doesn't help either. Try to come to a decision which is congruent with what you've said about the article. And when I say a decision about what you recommend, bear in mind it's the editor who makes the decision. Okay, conducting a review. I would strongly recommend, I'm going to hold something up in front of you now, it's called Reviewing Journal Manuscripts. This is written by someone called Shannon Pearson, and this is easy to find on Google, and it's free to download the PDF. And I would strongly recommend that you do it because it's an excellent piece of writing. It's produced by Wiley, and it's got lots of useful advice in there. As I say, it's very attractive because it's free. I'm not going to go into it in a great deal of detail because you can read that, and I'm going to base some of my comments on what's in Shannon Pearson's booklet. It's still available, I've just checked and I've just downloaded it.